Hey guys, short little puzzle here for you, but it's white to play and win. Before I say anything, what do you think the winning idea is? The queen against the two knights in this configuration. You had a chance to look at that. This is a very interesting position because normally if you have a king and a queen against a king, it's very easy. You can just force the king to the corner and you bring your king up and you deliver the checkmate. But in this position, these knights are going to be a very big problem. As you try to bring your king around, they're going to be potentially threatening forks and even jumping back to defend the king when you try to deliver the checkmate. So it's a really big issue for white here. But the one thing that white has going for them is that both of the knights are currently kind of tied down defending each other, right? If you imagine if black were to try to move one of these away, we would simply take the other knight, and same thing with this guy, right? They're needed to defend each other. Okay, so that's one part of it. The other piece of the puzzle here is that you need to make sure that black's king doesn't get close to the knights, because when you add the king getting close to the knight, then the king acts as another defender, and it gets even more difficult for us here with the queen. So with all that in mind, the only winning move for white is king to b8. Now, it's the only king move, right? If you look carefully, the only king move, and that's important because if you play a queen move, let's just take a random check like queen to d2, it's no longer a win because once the king gets up and gets kind of close to the knights, there's really nothing you can do. For example, something like this, the king's going to be able to kind of hide behind the knight and just dance all around, and you can never make progress because you can't ever take one of the knights. Okay? Now, you're probably wondering, that's great, Nelson, but how does king to b8 help us? We still have the same problem, right? This is kind of like a high-class waiting move in the sense that black now is forced to make a move. Okay, we already talked about why they can't move the knights, which means they have to move the king. And where are they going to move the king to? Well, they don't have a ton of options. Let's just say they choose king to g2. What are we going to do as a follow-up? You had a chance to look at that. The move is queen to e3. And you might start to notice a pattern here with what we are trying to do. After king to h2, what do you think the follow-up move is going to be? You had a chance to look at that. Queen to f3 would be correct. Do you notice what we're doing to black's king? We're slowly but surely forcing it to the corner. So after king to g1, how would we finish off this maneuver? That's correct. Queen to e2 now forces the king into the corner. And what's the final move here now that we've got the king in the corner? What should we do next? You had a chance to look at that. It's queen to f2. And again, we totally trap the king in the corner so that it can't move. And why is that important? Because if the king can't move, it means one of the knights has to move. And once a knight moves, let's just take this one here attacking our queen. What are we going to do? Well, that's right. We're going to fork the king and the knight. So you could do it this way if you want, like this. Or you could do it this way. This is what I would probably do. And you take the knight. And now you're going to win the game. And by the way, anywhere that this knight moves or this knight moves is going to lead to a knight fork. So if I move here, can you find the fork? You had a chance to look at that. The most obvious one, in my opinion, is queen to f3. Now, you could also like throw in a different check and then, do another fork after that. But the immediate one here is just like this. And we can simply take that knight. So you can play around with it if you would like, but anywhere that either of these knights moves, there's going to be a way that you can get a fork and win one of those knights. And once you get rid of one of the knight, the queen against the knight is a relatively easy win for the queen. All right, so very interesting idea there of simply sliding your king over so that you could then use your queen to force the king into the corner and ultimately put black into a Zugzwang where they have to move one of the knights and get forked. So nice little puzzle by George Walker. Very old one, but hopefully you enjoyed that. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, play smart, and take care.